full moon, Mercury retrograde, eclipse. You're feeling a little crazy. You're not crazy. It's just, you know, the world imploding on itself. So let's start off our practice today, coming home to our bodies. Couple of breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Giving yourself a bit of an audible breath here. Our voice is the original sound healing. So our body naturally creates vibration, which is sound vibration, to help us release tension, stress, anxiety, all these things from our physical body, because it's held in our tissue if we don't let it go. So if you look at animals in the wild, they will shake after they've had a traumatic experience. They will emote sounds after they've had a traumatic experience. And somewhere along the line, we just decided to completely stifle our voice and be like, oh, I don't want to share this with the world. People might think I'm weird. Well, newsflash, we're all fucking weird. So make some noise. Letting everything go. And let's actually start off doing some shaking. You are going to need a strap or strap-like substance for today's practice. And you are going to need a block or a block-like substance, so a couple books, whatever's for today's practice. But let's stand up and shake. So just start off with shaking the knees, letting the hips go and letting that reverberate up into your body. So there's actually a whole practice of this, which I came in contact with in Bali when I was living there. I was dating a guy who had just come from like a 6-week shaking course. I was like, what did you do? And he was like, oh, we just got up all day and shook. Like literally, they just spent hours shaking. And there's so many different forms of healing that involve this idea of shaking, this idea of movement and release to get trauma and anxiety and all the shit we hang on to out of our bodies. This is also a great way to warm up. Full moon, good time to let things go. So if you kind of imagine any stress, negative thought patterns, anything like that that's stuck in your system, a loop in your head, taking up space, imagine that stuff just shaking out. And then kind of slowly allow yourself to come to a still place. sensing into the vibration in your body that's still going on, that tingling, the pulsating, feeling your heart beating. Chances are that kicked your heart rate up a smidge. Beautiful. And while we're here, let's do a little bit of a whole side body opener because we've had requests for low backs and shoulders today. So you're going to take your right leg, cross it in front of your left. Your left leg is going to stay straight. Your right knee is going to be bent. Push your left hip out to the side. You can kind of put your hand into your hip. And then left arm is going to come up and over. And we're really pressing the left hip out and lifting the left rib cage up, and resist the urge to kind of roll the shoulder down. Instead, think more of rolling the chest open as you kind of hinge over here. Inhale, coming up. And then swapsies. Left foot in front of the right. Left knee's bent this time, right leg is long. Pushing the hip straight out to the side, pressing the hand into the hip, and then taking the right arm up and over. And again, the hip goes out to the side, the ribs come up, and there's a really gentle rotation of the chest upwards towards the sky. And then inhaling back up. Grab your strap. You can do this either standing or seated. If you're going to do it seated, you would do it sitting on your heels. I'm going to do it seated because you'll let, well, actually, I guess you can see my hands okay in this. So I'm not going to do it seated. I'm going to do it standing. But you're going to hand under the strap and you're going to slide a little wider than your shoulders. And you're going to just start to move and see like, okay, I can't come down behind my back with it this length. So I need to widen. And you let your hands go wide until you can come down and then come back up and forward. So that's the movement. You want to link it with your breath. Now, anatomy wise, what we're looking at is as we come up, right about when we get to the ears, the shoulders are going to want to shrug. You want to pull them down instead. So resist letting the shoulders shrug. And as it comes up behind the head, you'll notice that your back wants to arch to allow you to do this with your spine as opposed to your shoulders. So we're trying to work the shoulders. We don't want to work the spine right now. So we need to keep these front bottom ribs knitted down so that we can drop that down behind us, okay? So I should be able to do this with my shoulders down, my arms long, and my ribs tucked in. So only my arms are moving as I do this. And you'll notice if you're really aware as you're moving, that there'll be a spot that's like sticky, stuck, hurts. you can actually stop there. And like we do with the therapy ball work, you can do the little eraser idea. So like, okay, I'm just going to move back and forth in this one little place that's sticky in my body to help unstick it. And you might notice that one shoulder lifts up more than the other, or has a desire to lift up more than the other. So do this maybe with the eyes closed so that you can really tune in to what's going on. And then we're going to do a little swapsies here. So the arms come up overhead. The right thumb, so if you stick your thumbs out, the right thumb is going to turn down and the arm is going to drop down. And we're going to pull that left arm down. Now you might need to shorten out here because you don't need as much. So it's just one arm pulling the other arm. So my right arm pulls my left hand down the back of my head. And we're looking for all the same things, shoulders to stay down and ribs to stay knitted in, because the ribs want to do this, like, oh yeah, this is perfect. This is great and comfortable in my shoulders, but we want to be stretching the shoulders. So we need to knit the ribs down and press the elbow back, okay? And then we come back up and we swap these. So the left thumb turns down and pulls down. Again, the ribs stay down. And as I come into this final position, I really need to pull that elbow back. Ribs are knitted in. Okay. So as you inhale, you can come up. As you exhale, you bring everything down. And again, closing the eyes can be really helpful here. We're using the bottom arm to really pull the other arm across the body as it comes down. One more on each side. And then releasing the arms down. You can let your strap go. Just hanging out for a second. Feeling what's going on with the body. So a little bit more of just gentle movement here. We're going to externally rotate the arms. So that means your thumbs are going to point forward and then out and then back as much as they can. And you want to be feeling this, like it's really easy to just like swivel your wrists around, but I want the whole arm to be moving. So I really want you to feel this up in the chest and shoulder. Go all the way out. And then we come all the way in. So the thumbs point back maybe again. And as we're doing this, opening and closing, we're looking for those ribs to stay down again. We're looking for the shoulders to stay down. The eyes are level. And the chest is nice and open. So tendency can be to kind of cave the chest in when you do the internal rotation and pop the chest out when you do the external rotation. And we want to keep everything really knitted in tight. So it's just the arms moving. Shoulder blades will be moving across the back, but they're lubricated. They should slide across the back. So as I'm in internal rotation, they're pulled wide. I can feel them pulled out towards my arms. And then as I go into external rotation, they squeeze in towards the shoulder blades. So my spine and my rib cage is very stationary. However, my shoulder blades are sliding back and forth across my back body, which sounds really easy, but we have so many little sticky adhesions in those shoulder blades that just this exercise can end up being very challenging. Feeling those upper arm bones rotating around. And then release. Let the arms rest by your side. And take a couple deep breaths into your whole rib cage. You feel the whole rib cage expanding on the inhale and contracting. Specifically focusing on the side bodies where we just don't spend a ton of time. And let's just do another little shakety shake. And then releasing the shake. And then grab your block. So if you don't have a block, grab a book, something kind of block shaped and hard. So it's firm. It's not like you want a hard cover book. Is that what it's called? Yeah, hardcover. My brain just went out. So again, things that we're looking for while we do this pose is to keep those front bottom ribs knitted down, keep the pelvis in under us, to have a little bit of softness in our knees. And this time the elbows are going to be actually pointing forward. Oh man, I am like releasing all sorts of stuff out of my body right now with these yawns. So you're going to take your blocker book between the hands, place it right in the back of your head. I'm going to do this I'm going to do it frontwards and then sideways so you can see. My shoulders are down. My elbows are going to point forward. My ribs are knitted down. My knees are soft, so my butt can kind of just float in space. And then I'm going to push my head back into the block and then pull the block towards my head. So it's kind of a tug of war, a push of war, really. And we're trying to match the energy. So as much as I pull the block into my head, I need to push my head back. As much as I push my head back, I need to pull the block forward. All while keeping my shoulders down, my elbows forward, my ribs down, and my pelvis and knees nice and soft. So I could do a little hula here if I wanted to. That's how chilled out my low body is. And then release. Ooh. drop that to the floor so you can really just stand for a moment with nothing in your hands. And that should feel pretty cool. Usually it's like your head is floating. There's a lot of release through the upper back and the shoulders. Awesome. Okay. So let's go into a little bit more movement here. So you're going to come to the top of your mat. Let's take a deep breath in, sweep the arms up. And as you reach high again, keep those bottom ribs down. So we don't take this in the mid back. We keep the ribs down. We're just reaching through the side body. Palms come together. We exhale right down the midline of the body. Reaching the arms down, we inhale, sweep up. So as the arms go up, think of it like a wine opener. There's those like the old fashioned ones, you know, where you like the arms go up. The arms go up and the center goes down. So the shoulders go down. I root more through my feet. And then I exhale, hands down through center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Everything is nice and strong through my core. Exhale, down. This time we're going to inhale up. Stay rooted through our feet. Exhale, open to the right. So right arm back, left arm forward. We look over the right fingers. Our belly draws in towards our low back. And we inhale up. Exhale the opposite way. And as we're doing this, we're counter twisting through the pelvis. So my left arm goes back. My left hip comes forward. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. So right arm back, right hip forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And let the arms come all the way down. Standing for a moment at the top of the mat. This time we inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, nice long spine. Reaching the hands all the way down to the floor, dropping the head, hanging here. And then keep the hands close to the legs, bend the knees ever so slightly, and just roll up one vertebrae at a time. So I start by rounding through my tail, through my low back, my mid back, my upper back. Shoulders take a big roll up and back. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Hang for a breath. And then hands towards the shins. Tuck the tail, initiating from the low spine, one vertebrae at a time. Big shoulder roll at the top. Sweeping the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. All the way down. Hanging out for a couple breaths. Bringing the hands in towards the shins, rolling up nice and slow. Big shoulder roll. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. All the way down. This time we're going to inhale, lengthen our spines. So hands either on the floor or on the shins, wherever you can get a nice flat back. Think about your thigh bones plugging back towards the wall behind you and your back of your head reaching towards the wall in front of you. Good. On your next exhale, fold yourself back down towards the toes. Inhale, lengthen out your spine again. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, fold. Hands onto the floor. Step your right foot to the back of your mat. Drop the right knee down. Release the foot. And then just hang for a second. Lazy lunge. Wiggle around in your body. Just notice what's going on in your hips today. We're gonna lift that right foot up, cross it across your mat. So your knee points to the right, your foot points to the left. And then we're gonna come up and sink that right inner thigh towards the left knee. Open up your chest. You can reach your right arm straight back if that helps remind you to keep your chest open. And we're using the left leg to drag the hips forward. Bringing the right hand back down to the floor. Extend that right leg back. And then your left toes are going to turn out to the left. And we're going to bring the right hand onto the floor. Come onto the outer edge of that right foot and sink your right hip down. So we're going to reaching through the heel, reaching through the hand, and just letting your hip hang out. Coming up, lift everything up and centered. And then you're going to turn everything kind of to the right and drop your butt down and do a half straddle. And then the right elbow is going to come down either onto the floor in front of the thigh or onto the front of the thigh. Slide your left arm around behind your back to really roll your left shoulder open. Drop your right ear towards your right shoulder and just let yourself tip over that right leg. But imagine that you're up against a wall. So we don't want to be rounding forward towards the foot. We want to be just kind of sliding straight over to the right. Right foot's engaged. The right thigh bone is pushing down into the mat. Maybe the right heel lifts. And then rotating your chest towards the right leg. Really lengthen your left rib cage and your left shoulder towards the thigh a little bit more than the right to square yourself off. And then think about lengthening your heart towards your big toe. Let your head just hang out. rolling up. We're going to kind of move ourselves to the opposite end of our yoga mat. So left foot's going to come back to the floor, right foot's going to come onto the floor. We're going to lift ourselves through and make our way into a lunge on the opposite side. Lazy lunge, just hang out, maybe move around. You're going to pick up the left foot, drag it across the mat, come upright, and then use your right leg to pull your left inner thigh towards the right knee. Keep the chest open here. So it might be really helpful to bring the arm back. I have to do this with my arm back. Otherwise, I'm like hanging out here. I forget so easily in this pose that I want to keep the chest open. The left hand's going to come back. Lift the toes up, roll them around. You're going to turn the right toes out to the right. Bring the left foot onto the outside. And sink your left hip down. So we're pushing through the heel, pushing through the hand, and just hanging out in the hip. And coming back center, we keep it rolling around to the left. Drop the butt down. Bring the foot in. And then flexing the left leg. Elbow comes down either onto the floor or a block or on the top of the leg. Right arm behind your back. So roll that shoulder open. Drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. And the head hangs down. Whew. Picking your torso up, rotating your chest towards that left leg. Send the right rib cage and the right shoulder a little further. Squaring off your chest to the foot. Lengthen your heart towards your toes and just let your head hang out in space. Rolling up. We're going to rotate to the right again, so to the back of the mat. Parallel the feet, tuck the toes of the left foot, come on up. Bringing the torso up. Hands on the hips, straighten out the right leg a little bit, bend the left knee, hug the hips and under you, and then re-straighten the left leg as much as it will go without the pelvis tipping forward. So it might not go completely straight. Rebend the right knee. And we're sending that right thigh bone down and the right hip forward, and we're pulling our right hip back. So left hip down and forward, right hip back. Lengthening the low back, drawing the belly backwards and the ribs come down. We'll take a twist here. So arms up, and then left arm forward, right arm back. Bring the arms down to the floor. Spiral your left heel down, right elbow onto your right knee. Lift the whole left side of the body up towards the sky and sink the whole right side of the body down towards the floor. Push into your right foot, come on up for warrior two, but turn your palms up. It's going to help bring the shoulders down. Inhale, straighten the leg in both the arms, interlace the fingers, press the palms up. Whew. Turn the right toes in, turn the left toes out. Lift the right heel up. Rebend the left knee, come all the way down. Squaring everything off, get all the wiggles out. Then we'll bring the body up again. Straight out the left leg a smidge, bend the right knee a smidge, scoot your butt in under you, and then start to lengthen that right leg out as much as is possible, and then bend the left knee. So low back is long, pubic bone is lifted, arms reach up, shoulders reach down, and we take our twist, so right arm forward, left arm back. Now the arms up, and then exhale the hands down. Right heel spirals down, left elbow onto the left knee. Whole right side of the body peels open as the left side of the body sinks down. And inhale, we'll come all the way up, warrior two, palms turned up. We'll bring the arms up, interlace the palms, flip them up, straighten out that left leg. And instead of having your toes point straight forward, you're just gonna turn them in slightly so they point towards that top corner of the mat. And then you're gonna do the same thing with the right foot, so the right toes turn to the mat. We inhale, reach through the arms. Exhale, pull the elbows down, stick out your tongue, lion's breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lion's breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Come all the way down, elbows onto the knees. Press the knees nice and wide and then sink the hips down. Sumo squat. Hands to the floor, sweep one leg and under the other. And we'll find ourselves on our backs, knees hugged into the chest. Grab hold of the feet, grab hold of the outsides of the feet, and let's go into happy baby. So feet, just like where we were a moment ago, sumo squat, but on our backs. So feet are looking straight up at the sky. Knees are pulling down towards the ribs. And then notice how your low back is crawling up away from the floor. I want you to start to think about keeping the feet right where they are and just lengthening the spine towards the floor. It might not move very much, and that's fine. We just want the idea of it moving towards the floor. Dropping the heels towards the hips, pull the knees back in for a little hug. And we're going to cross the right ankle at the left knee. Reach between the legs, grab either the front of the shin or the back of the thigh, whatever's available to you. And you're going to gently pull that right ankle and left knee towards you. Releasing the right leg. Bring the left ankle across the right knee. Reach through, grab hold of either the back of the knee or the front of the knee. Unwind the legs. Let's come back into happy baby again. Grabbing the outside of the feet, knees pulled down towards the ribs. Sending the tail towards the mat as much as you can as you pull those feet a little bit further towards the head. I'm going to grab the backs of the knees and rock ourselves all the way up. Dropping the knees out into a nice wide butterfly and then folding yourself down for a nice gentle yin pose to finish. So forehead drops towards the arches of the feet. Head is completely relaxed. See if you can slow your breath down and lengthen both the inhale and the exhale out. Roll up, lengthen the legs out. And we're going to do a forward fold, but from a yin perspective. So it's not about the hamstrings, it's more about the spine. So it's kind of like you're just sitting up and then you've fallen asleep sitting up. So the chest and the head drop down and the head leads you down into the pose. So if the body wants to tip forward a little bit, that's fine, but it's more about curling in towards your pelvis with the head. Rolling bring yourself just straight back. So keeping this curve going on. All the way nice and slow onto the floor for Shavasana. Beginning to deepen your breath. Feeling the breath flood into every corner of the body. Gently moving your body in any way that feels good. Bending your knees, bringing your feet to the floor, rolling over onto your side. Pressing yourself up to seated. Coming back inside your body with your awareness. Full moons are a great time to let things go. Just imagining your body every exhale, letting go of anything and everything that's not serving you, that's not propelling you forward, anything you have that's weighing you down. Bring your hands together at your heart center. Taking a moment to just be so incredibly grateful for the body that we have. Just sending gratitude into every single cell of your body. Thank you guys so much for moving with me today. Namaste.